Alison from Let Love Bloom. How are you all this week? Welcome to another episode of Tune In Tuesday. And this week I really wanted to share with you how powerful the art of stillness, resting and digesting can be to help heal your body, your health, your well-being, and transform your life. I wanted to really share with you the physical long-term effects of stress on the body. And when I talk about stress on the body, I'm really looking at this holistically, and I'm talking about emotional stress, mentally, nutritionally, and energetically. And I'm going to walk you through the physical effects on your body with stress in your life. So when I learned about this mind-body connection all those years ago, especially when I was trying to recover my health from years of chronic illness, adrenal fatigue, pain, fibromyalgia, digestive issues, fuzzy head, and literally had to spend so much of my day for years resting, lying down, and struggling to get out of bed, struggling to get through a whole day without feeling massive amounts of chronic fatigue. And I know that for me, I went to many doctors and they really had no answers for why I was struggling with such chronic fatigue, especially when nothing was showing up in my blood tests, no deficiencies, no viruses, nothing was showing up. And so what I actually learned throughout the years that have literally restored my health and well-being is the actual physical long-term effects of stress on the body. And I'm going to walk you through these really simple ways of understanding how your body works, how our human bodies are designed, and how important it is to balance our get up and go with resting and digesting. And it all stems down to the fact that our human bodies are just so amazingly created to stay healthy, to regulate our health, our well-being, our energy levels, all by themselves. We are born, well, most of us are generally born with, all the organs, glands, hormones, and nutritional things in our body to actually stay healthy, happy, and regulate our energy long term. Our bodies are so amazingly designed like that. But it's so important that our bodies also receive regular nutrients, resting, sleep, happiness, and food and water, just these basic necessities that often we forget all about as our lives get crazy busy or we go through some kind of trauma or stress in our life. So when I learned how the body simply worked, it literally gave me back control and to empower myself to change and restore my health. It just felt so powerful to be able to know these steps and give me back some kind of control on restoring my health and well-being. All right, so I just want to talk to you now about the stress response. Now, our bodies are designed with a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system. And without getting too, sciencey and technical, all that means is that our bodies are designed perfectly to get up and go if we've had enough rest and digest. And this parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system, they work in harmony together and they control so much of our hormones and our well-being. And without getting too technical, I'm just going to talk to you now about the stress response. And again, this is all types of stress that we go through in this modern world, from physical, nutritional, emotional, energetic, and not just our stress, but taking on other people's stress as well, or feeling the stress in the world. And so literally what starts to happen is whenever we start to, our stress gets triggered, it instantly activates the stress hormones in our body to start to flood our body. Now, these stress hormones are excreted, like cortisol and adrenaline, from our adrenal glands, which are these little glands above our kidneys in our back, in our lower back. We have these two little glands above our kidneys, one on either side of our spine, called our adrenal glands. And whenever we start to feel stressed, even thinking about stress, it activates the adrenal glands and floods our body with stress hormones. Now that is okay, but I want to start to explain to you the flow-on effect of having these stress hormones constantly flooding your body. And I know for me, one of my first kinesiology teachers explained to me that my adrenal glands were like a leaky tap. They were just constantly, slowly leaking cortisol and stress hormones from my body, and they weren't ever really being switched off properly. And this is what was starting to contribute to my decline in health. So, the first thing that happens when these stress hormones are activated, it instantly switches off your digestion. Now, this was amazing to me because my digestion hadn't been really good in a long time, and I'd felt bloated and had digestive issues. So it was like, aha, what an aha moment. So the thing is that in order to digest our food, we need to be sitting quietly, resting, thinking happy things, and not eating on the run or just shoving food in our mouth. We really need to, when I realized that stress instantly switches off our digestion, it was a really big aha moment. And I know so many clients that I see that have digestive issues, and in a holistic way, if we're worrying all the time or stressing all the time, this really starts to affect our stomach and our digestion. The next thing that happens is it starts to slow down our bowels, and it's really important for our bowels to work properly that we need to be in a relaxed state for the muscles in our bowels to open and release. And so much of chronic inflammatory bowel syndrome, IBS, constipation, diarrhea, a lot of those things are actually stemming from your nervous system never fully relaxing. And so if you can imagine your bowels are never, if you're stressed all the time, your bowels are not always sure if we can go to the toilet now. Oh no, too busy, we have to wait. And all this nervous system stuff starts to affect your bowels. It also then, when that starts to happen, we're not eliminating toxins from our body properly. So constant stress also makes us store more of our fat and our toxins. And so we can start to gain weight and become more toxic in our bodies, in our livers. They can become more toxic because we're not eliminating, in our kidneys even. So another thing that was happening for me was memory and concentration. when you're in fight and flight, or you've got stress hormones flooding through your body, you're literally running all the time. It creates focus, memory, and concentration problems, because you're literally always running from a problem or trying to put out a problem, and it makes it very hard for you to focus and remember things with all these stress hormones flooding through your body. So if you're having memory and concentration problems, it's really important that you start to really understand how essential it is for you to start to manage these things. It also can suppress your immune system. When you've got stress hormones flooding through your body, this constant stress can really start to take a toll on your immune system. The next thing, it can cause tension in your muscles. It contracts your muscles and puts you into this tense state. So many of you, and I had major chronic pain from my neck all the way down my spine into my lower back and my hips, my joint pains, is because I had these constant stress hormones flooding my body, contracting my muscles, and they never really got to relax properly. So it also increases your heart rate. So if you've got high blood pressure or problems going on with your heart, it's really important to start to be mindful of your stress levels. Then, of course, the fatigue kicks in. When your body is constantly on the go, constantly stressed about things, then you fall into bed at night and you just feel exhausted. This is just this chronic fatigue that can start to really take a toll day in, day out, waking up in the morning, just instantly thinking about the things that you have to do today and get done, or if you're woken up by children or woken up during the night, which I know I was when my children were young. It can really start to cause fatigue on your body because your body hasn't been getting enough rest. And so what do you do when you're feeling tired a lot of the time? You start to need or look for foods that give you energy. Energy comes from food, right? So we could start to want more coffees or more teas or even those energy drinks. And we could start to look for more carbohydrate foods just to feel like we need that energy. And so that can get out of balance too. And in the end, all this extra caffeine and high calorie foods or sugar even, sugar is one of those things that gives us a boost of energy, but it raises our insulin levels. All that sugar floods our body and then we have a big crash. So if you're really looking at stabilizing your blood sugar levels and your energy levels, it's really important to start to really look at this from a whole perspective. And of course, stress and cortisol and adrenaline really starts to age you as well, especially if you're having all that extra coffee or caffeine or sugars. It can really start to age you, right? And who wants to age quicker than they have to? And so I remember when I was this tired, just the thought of trying to prepare myself a healthy meal or go and buy healthy food really got harder and harder. So we're just looking for quick foods and snacks to just, eat on the run. And so it's this vicious cycle that really starts to take a massive toll. And for many of you as well who might be having now sleep problems, because it can now flow into sleep problems. You can be so tired but wired from all the mental activity going on, all the caffeine, all the sugar, even alcohol, that we can start to feel tired but wired. All that stress hormones, our bodies struggle to switch off at night and get a good night's sleep. So you could be feeling like you struggle to go to sleep, or fall asleep really well, but then wake up in the middle of the night and then can't get back to sleep. So these are all the flow-on effects that start to happen if you're not really starting to understand how important resting and digesting is. And so the thing is that we wake up in the morning, and I know for me, I used to wake up just feeling like I'd been hit by a bus. Like my whole body was aching and so tired, and I had to drag myself out of bed every morning for years. And the only thing that would revive me was going and having a hot shower. And that would help my body feel better, help me relax, and help stimulate some of the blocked chi in my body. But for me, then by 9 o'clock in the morning, my energy levels were seriously starting to decline again, and this fuzzy head started to take over. And it's just so debilitating. So you just wake up and the whole process starts all over again. And I share this information with you today because I want you to understand how powerful you can now be to make changes in your life. And when I started to really understand that resting, switching off my mind, it's not just sitting there with your feet up on the sofa, watching TV, or, if your mind is still tick, 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 tick all the time, then even that alone is activating those stress hormones. So practicing meditation, practicing for even a few minutes at a time, just stilling your mind was so helpful and so powerful to help me recover my energy levels and my health and well-being. And stop feeling like that is lazy. It's really, really important. And it's something that I have dedicated my life to even today, to really be more mindful of how important stillness and mindfulness is and resting is to me. And I know that I can get, the old me can come back and think, oh, it's selfish if I'm not doing anything, or it seems like, people might judge me for being lazy. But until you've experienced chronic health issues that you are desperate to get on top of, it doesn't matter anymore what other people think or say, especially if you've got, a chronic illness that is like an invisible illness, that on the outside to the world you look fine, but inside you are experiencing such chronic pain or fatigue or health issues. So I want you to know that if this is something that you're experiencing, I want you to realize that you're not alone, and that there is help available to you, and it's help that you can start to implement today. Because the moment that your body starts to learn to trust you and that you're looking after it properly, then your body will start to give to you what you've been wanting, which is energy. Because I know for me, my body had to learn to trust me again. That if it gave me a little bit of my energy levels back or my health and well-being back, that I wasn't going to just abuse it by just, doing everything and not taking care of myself again. So it took a long time for my body to really trust me again. And I still have these, I tune in with my body all the time, and I still have these conversations with my body all the time. And if I'm not feeling great or if my energies are really low, it's like my body's way of talking to me and signaling to me that it's not feeling very looked after. All right, so remembering how essential it is for you to create boundaries in your life, to switch off and rest and digest. And the more you do this, the more that your body will really start to appreciate these feel-good hormones, these peaceful hormones that get to flood your body instead, like serotonin and oxytocin, and all these feel-good hormones can start to flood your body once you switch off the stress ones. And that's how your body can really start to heal itself naturally. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Tune In Tuesday. If you have any questions or if you would love some extra help with this, I would be more than happy to see you or to book a balance. I am now doing many sessions online as well as via Skype. So if you're not local to the Central Coast, it is just as easy for me to work with you one-on-one on the phone or via Skype sessions. And so many people are enjoying those more and more now. So, all right, so have a beautiful day and I will see you all soon. Bye.